Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today in this lesson we will talk about OOPS concept that comes under the elementary and structured data type, that is our unit number 2. So we will talk about object oriented programming. So let's start with PPT. In this slide, in this PPT we will cover entire headings like object and classes, encapsulation, inheritance, that is subclasses, abstraction, and polymorphism. So these are the actual characteristics, or we can say these are the features of object oriented programming language. So first thing about the C++, and we can say the object oriented. So what are the motivations behind procedural programming language and object oriented programming language in terms of C and C++? So in first section, in procedural programming, that is low level and closer to hardware. Second, that is more initiative and like less abstract. Third, that is more actions oriented. Fourth is focus on action, procedure, and some other methods. And last one is procedural oriented. So these are the actual motivations. We are just focusing into the variable, into the objects, and another thing is that like types we are just converting into the classes. So our motivation will depends on the variable from variable to types. So just convert it into the object and the classes. So in object oriented programming, this is actual high level language, more abstract and focused on what to do, not on how to do. So these are the actual motivations. As you can see, the first question is, what is object oriented programming? It is a language, as we know, that is C++. So object oriented programming, that is a programming paradigm that contains objects and fields to hold the data and method to implement business logic. Each and every object can interact with each other based on their access level modifiers. The object oriented paradigm is based on the classes and objects, where objects are the instance of the classes and can be created in different ways. There are different object oriented programming languages like C++, C#, PHP, Ruby on Rails, Java, Python, etc. So the main feature of object oriented programming technique are abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and most of the dynamic programming languages are based on OOPS principle. So we will discuss about abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance, and so on in this PPT. So these are the benefits. As we can see, reduce conceptual load into the minimum details. Second is fault containment, and third is independent program component. We can say the difficulties in practice. So the another term about object oriented programming is it will be reduce the code with the maximum possibility by extending and defining the abstraction. Another features are like most object oriented languages are high level languages and focus on OOPS languages. It's not on structure but on modeling data. Programmers code using blueprints of data models, that is called classes. Example of OOPS languages like C++, Visual Basic, .NET, and Java. So what are the main component of object oriented programming? Like object, that is unique programming entity that has method, has attribute, and can react to events. Another term is method, things which an object can do. The verbs of object in this code usually can be identified by any action word like hide and show. We are just mentioning all these terms like hide and show. Another term like attributes, things which describe an object. The adjectives of object in code usually can be identified by a descriptive word like enabled and backcolor. These are the attributes. And another term is event, forces external to an object to which that object can react in code, usually attached to an event procedure. Classes is another one that provides a way to create new objects based on meta definitions of an object. Example, we can take the automobile class. We are just considering this type of class. Constructor is another term that is a special method used to create new instance of a class. For example, a Honda Civic is an instance of the automobile class, as we discussed in the previous heading, that is class. So the main question is, what is class in object oriented programming? A class in object oriented programming is ideally called as a template or a blueprint of an object. An object of its class type will have the same properties as defined in the implementation of class. An object will always be a specific instance of a class. A class can have different subclasses and superclasses. A class can be a child class or parent class, depends on its declaration. A subclass can have all the properties that its superclasses has, whereas the superclass cannot have the properties of the subclass. A class can be extended by another class and it will be called as a parent class. So these are the concepts of class when we are studying in object oriented programming. Another term, that is, what is constructor in OOPS? So the constructor is a method used to invoke the object creation process by initializing the state of the object. The name of the constructor should be the name of the class. Ideally may vary, depends on the type of programming languages. So we can say a constructor must not have any return type. So we can also discuss that is the term deconstructor. This is the most common OOPS programming like subject. A deconstructor is a method which is invoked at the time of the object is destroyed or when its scope is about to end. The method will be called explicitly or implicitly based on the programming languages used. In C++, destructor needs to be called, whereas in Java it's not needed and it will be handled by garbage collection mechanism. So I am talking about the Java, but we will not take any kind of example using Java. So these are the explanation of a constructor and destructor in OOPS. So the question is the C language. What is C language? Actually, C language is a cross-platform language that can be used to create high-performance application. C++ was developed by Benjamin as an extension to the C language. C++ also gives programmers a high level of control over system resources and memories. So we can say the languages was updated 3 major times in 2011, 2014 and 2017 in terms of C++ 11, C++ 14 and C++ 17. So these are the another features of C++ that we added inlining and overloading of the functions, default argument values, argument passed by references, and free store operators, new and delete, the replacement of malloc and free. Sometimes we use this term malloc and free in C languages. So why we are using C++? C++ is one of the world's most popular programming language. C++ can be found in today's operating system graphical user interface, or we can say embedded system. C++ is an object-oriented programming language which gives a clear structure to programs and allow code to reuse and lower development cost. Another features like C++ is a portable and can be used to develop applications that can be adapted to multiple platforms. And C++ is very easy to learn, and we can say the C++ is closer to C# and Java. It makes it easy for programmers to switch C++ or vice versa. What are the objectives in C++? Designing objectives we are talking about, that is compatibilities. Existing code in C can be used. Even existing precompiled libraries can be linked with the new C++ code. Another objective is efficiency, that is no additional cost of using C++. Script type checking, we are just add debugging, it allows generation of efficient code. Another standardization provide from the ANSI and ISO, that is international standard organizations. Other extension to C, these are the actual improvement. These are the improvements over C languages, like streaming, that input output, strong typing, parameters passing by references, the call by reference, call by value, default argument values also there, and inlining is function is the important part of C++. So these are the streaming input output in C++. We denote input and output as a C in and C out. Input and output operators like incremental and decremental input and output in C++ is handled by the streaming. Directive hash include, that is denoted by the IO stream, input output stream dot h means header file. It declares two streams, C in and C out. As we can see, all these two terms, C in and C out, we can use to print, and we can enter the value through these terms, C in and C out. In C++, input is input is line buffered, that is the user must press RTN before any character are processed. Our objective about that is a thing that has identity, state and behavior. Identity, what is identity in terms of instance of a class. State, that is a collection of values for its variable, and behavior related to the executing methods. So these are the three terms. Variables and methods are defined in a class. So we are talking about object in OOPS programming language. Class we already discussed in previous slides. Definition, that is a collection of data like fields and variables, and methods that operate on that particular data. It defines the content or capabilities of the instance. A class can be viewed as a factory for objects, and these are the actual difference between object and classes. A class is a data type that allows programmers to create object. A class provides a definition for an object, describing an object's attribute that is known as data, and methods is defining through the operations. An object, that is we already know that object is a instance of a class. With one class you can have as many objects as required. This is the another term. As we can see, the class, that is a type, is the data type, or the object is kind of a variable. So our first topic, the first topic is encapsulation. This is the first feature of OOPS. So these are the process of encapsulation. These are the key points. The user of an object should have access only to those methods or data that are essentials. Unnecessary implementation details should be hidden from the user. In Java and C++, use classes and access modifiers, public, private and protected. So these are the actual concept of encapsulation. Another term is encapsulation is defined as wrapping up of data and information under a single unit. Consider, we can take we are just considering an example. Consider a real life example of encapsulation. In a company, there are different sections like the account section, finance section, sales section, etc. The finance section handles all the financial transaction and keep record of all the data related to finance. Similarly, the sales section handles all the sales related activities and keep record of all the sales. Now there may arise a situation when for some reasons an official from finance section need all the data about sales in a particular month. In this case, he is not allowed to directly access the data of sales section, so he will first have to contact some other officers in the sales section and then request him to give the particular data. This is what encapsulation is. Here the data of sales section and the employees that can manipulate them are wrapped under a single name, that is a sales section. So encapsulation also lead to the data abstraction or hiding. So this is the representation of encapsulation, incorporation into a class or of the data and operations in a one package. Data can only be accessed through the package, and information hiding concept including this including in this encapsulation process. So we just defining a class, we can mention these two terms like methods and variable are encapsulated into a single class. So this is the actual concept of encapsulation. And next topic is inheritance. What is inheritance? Actually, inheritance can be defined as the process where one class acquires the properties. Properties means methods and fields that of another. With the use of inheritance, the information is made manageable in a hierarchical order. So another terms, inheritance programming languages features that allow for the implicit definition of variables methods for a class through an existing class. So this is the example of subclass relationship. B is a subclass of A, and B inherits all the definitions in A. So what is the keyword of inheritance? Like extend is, we can say the extend is a keyword. Extend is the keyword used to inherit the properties of a class. We can say the inheritance sometimes is a mechanism in which one class acquires the property of another class. For example, a child inherits the traits of her parents. With inheritance, we can reuse the fields and methods of the existing class. Hence, inheritance facilitates reusability and is an important concept of OOPS. So inheritance that actually allow programmers to create new classes based on existing class. We already know about this one. New methods and attributes can be created in the new class but do not affect the parent class's definitions. So this is the syntax. I told you in this slide that is extend is my keyword, and this is the actual basic syntax of inheritance. This is our superclass and this is the subclass, and we are just extending the subclass from superclass. Next topic is abstraction. Abstraction is about OOPS is about abstraction. Abstraction means encapsulation and inheritance are the example of abstraction. So what does the verb abstract means? Abstraction means the data abstraction is important feature of OOPS, and it means displaying only essential information and hiding the details. Data abstraction refers to providing only essential information about the data to the outside world, hiding the background details or implementation. We can take an example of abstraction, like consider a real life example of a man driving a car. The man only knows that pressing the accelerators will increase the speed of a car or applying brakes will stop the car, but he does not know about how on pressing accelerator the speed is actually increasing. He does not know about the inner mechanism of the car or the implementation of accelerator, brakes, etc. So in this car, that is what abstraction is. Reuse, in terms of reuse, like inheritance encourage software reuse. Existing code need to be rewritten, and successfully reuse occurs only through carefully planning and designing. So now we talk about polymorphism. What is polymorphism? Polymorphism, we can say it is all about the many forms. Like the word polymorphism means having different forms. We can say many forms. In simple words, we can define polymorphism as the ability of a message to be displayed in more than one form. A real life example of polymorphism: a person at the same time can have different characteristics, like a man at the same time is a father, a husband, an employee. So the same person possesses different behavior in different situations. This is called polymorphism. Polymorphism is considered as one of the important feature of object-oriented programming. So dynamic binding, including the polymorphism, like capability of an implementation, the differences between the different forms during the runtime. What is runtime? Actually, the in C++ polymorphism is mainly divided into two types. First is compile time polymorphism, and second is runtime polymorphism. Actually, polymorphism is divided into these two sections: compilation time and runtime. So all function overloading, operator overloading include will comes under the compile time, and virtual function and will goes under to the runtime. So polymorphism method can adapt it to specific type of object. So these are the actual concept of OOPS programming languages. We had talk about inheritance, polymorphism, object, classes, encapsulation. So we have covered almost features of OOPS. So thanks for watching my video. Please share my video and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.